Hi everyone, it's Killshot 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 premiere. This is our live fan reaction stream. Good stuff tonight. We're going to get just kind of complete raw reactions. You can see the patrons up on the screen. So let's jump right into it because a lot to really think about tonight. I know it was a big story. I already know, some people are already going to say it's a little dry, they want more action. They want more adventure. I get it. It was okay. But there's a lot of stories, and I think Talking Dead's going to shine a light on a few of these. This is one of those episodes that I see. Normally for a premiere, this is kind of a episode 4, episode 5, where you get a little bit of a reset button. But I think because so many things have happened, this was the reset button, and there's a lot of different things that we can talk about. So before we get started, I want to get your reactions. First and foremost, from a 1 to a 10, everybody, we do this after every Fear the Walking Dead. We did it last year. I said, Julie's kind of, meh, but we're going to break it down a little bit, Julie. Hold on. From 1 to a 10, let me see where everybody rates it, and then we're going to go in a few different directions. I got some 9s up on the board, a couple 8s, solid 8.5. Yeah, I'm not terrible with an 8.5. 5, 7. Gouche says a 10. I'll give you guys my rating in just a little bit. A couple more 8s. Julia Muse with an 8. 7.5, 7 out of 10. Makes sense. I fully get this. Here's the thing that I would say is we're going to have to revisit this episode after a couple more episodes. There were some really good callbacks in there. And I don't know, I know Dylan and Max. Did anybody catch the girl's name? I didn't catch the girl's name. But there was a really nice Lydia moment in there. I thought that was great. And I'm starting to see how this has transpired. It's starting to make a little bit more sense. It's not just about atoning for past sins. It's Morgan's crusade. Morgan has convinced this group of people to follow him on his redemption crusade. Okay, some people are saying Annie, Max, and Dylan. So, Annie had a Lydia moment where she said, places like that don't exist. I remember her saying that. Really good callback. And, of course, kind of a little bit callback to Rick Grimes as well. You got the Lucy being punctured in the shoulder. Not the side, but the shoulder. Tom Ferreira says the ending legitimately jump scared the living crap out of me. Yeah, tasers. They continue to bring stuff out that we haven't seen in the core franchise. June Smith says, do we have another Negan alpha going on? Well, Logan, he's not killing anybody yet. So I'm not really sure. I want to get your thoughts on Logan. Logan does look like he could get evil in a hurry. He could be twisted. But right now, he's just an older, balder version of Mel the Vulture. But I do think something's going to happen. Now, I'm probably going to go back a little bit later on and say, well, why didn't Logan just kill him? I'm a little scared of Logan too, but he is letting people go. He is creepy. I thought it was cool the way the CNL played out. Clayton and Logan, hey, I was just coming here for my stuff. Yeah, I mean, Princess, but they could have killed them. And if Logan's not a good person, the question I have for you is, how many of you would have just had your people kill those 4 and take their vehicles? Wouldn't that make more sense than just to let them go? Tom Ferreira says, pretty funny. He's funny, and maybe you're right. Maybe it is going to be a little bit of Negan. They want to They want to add his humor to it. Yeah, Tommy would have killed him. Sheila Mack says he's a control freak. E Beach says good start, not great. I would agree with that. So I'm going to give it an 8.5. I agree with everybody here. I don't think it came out of the gates and it was like, oh yes, it's a 10. However, I reserve the right to go back and say, wait a minute, there were some really cool clues, some good hints that we missed that were in the premiere. And I guarantee you there's some things that we didn't quite catch the first time around. Whether it's someone's name that was on a tape, Alexa, I think, was on one of the tapes. The suits. If this group of people turns out to be a group of people after the time skips that is involved in a bigger enterprise, maybe something to do with Rick Grimes, that would be cool as well. Got it. We got some little laminated key card type of things. Hippo, I think Logan is the neighbor dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Could be wrong. H-Bomb this summer. Think 80s, think funk. Great opening episode. Tom Ferreira says, I give it a 7 out of 10. Here's what I will say. There's some things in this episode that we are going to be referencing. So, a taser. Taser's pretty cool. Now, the airplane. The airplane was typical Fear the Walking Dead. They do something, they get in over their head, and they crash a plane. Pretty typical. Like, what dire situation can we get ourselves into? But we're certainly starting to see the character development. The characters are staying true to form. Here's a couple of examples. We didn't see a lot of Charlie. But we got to see a little bit of Alicia. That madness taken over. Alicia almost seems like she's got a clear mode now. We saw Morgan's crusade. We did see a little bit more of the John and June dynamic. Remember, we said at the beginning of the season, we're going to see that relationship just grow. It's going to be a very, very emotional. John said something that scared the heck out of me. He said, I think we're the luckiest people in the world. Anytime you start talking about luck, King Ezekiel, it goes bad in a hurry. We've got Super Chat. We got June up here. June says, I think it's about Rick. They seem like they have some technology. Yeah. I do like the I like the connection. I like the fact it's going to give us something to talk about. Tom Ferreira says, I think the guy in the hazmat suit is going to be the main villain of the first half. So, Tom, it certainly looks like we've got a couple villains. I mean, remember we said the one thing Fear is missing is a villain. And now we potentially got two. And we got the kids floating around out here somewhere too. They're not done. I mean, they're still going to be a part of the story. You just don't introduce them. And that's why I think that when it's all said and done and we go back and look at it, these Annie, Max, Dylan, I guess we could just call them MAD, right? Max, Annie, and Dylan. It'll be our acronym so we can remember who they are. They warned them about this area. And in a couple episodes, when we find them again, there's going to be something major with them. Oh, Tom, Fear has had crappy villains. Their villains have sucked ever since the show started. They're weak. They're bad. I mean, last season, the Vultures weren't villains at all. And we need some long-term villains. So, this group in the suit, if you guys remember, that triad is what we called it, was the same triad symbol that was on the Walking Dead helicopter and the same triad symbol that was on the applesauce. And it was in this guy's pocket. So, now, if it's Commonwealth, it is safe to say it is the group that Jadis is attached to, and it is the group that took Rick. June Smith, I'm so freaking excited at the thought that it could be hints of Rick. Can you believe it? Now, whether that's Commonwealth or not Commonwealth, we don't know. Commonwealth could still be a completely separate entity. However, this is the biggest hint we've had to date. I'm not going to, some people are saying definitely, some people are saying not. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's any relation to Commonwealth. Let me say this, though. Our boldest prediction to date was about 2 weeks ago. And what we said, and I don't, if you guys remember this, just type it in chat. But our prediction was that there would be a villain on Fear the Walking Dead that would connect The Walking Dead to the Rick Grimes movie. Do you guys remember that bold prediction? And it looks really, really solid right now, doesn't it? Just a little symbol on a card. Could be a map, could be a maze, could be setting up some Rick Grimes story. I love it. I love it. E. Beach, do you think Celtic Knot organization started the virus? I don't think we'll ever know who started the virus, Eric. Robert Kirkman's never going to tell us. Some really, really good reactions. Now, I'm not saying Rick's in Texas. Remember, all right. Remember where we're at this point, though. If this group, all right, I got to ask the question again. Okay? Those of you that gave the premiere a 5, a 7, an 8. If this group is in fact the group that took Rick Grimes and we just got that whole seed planted, does that change your score? Is that going to bump it up a little bit more? Now do we have a story on our hands? All right. So it's important that we get back to the timeline. Sheila Mack's like, yes, that makes it a 10. Exactly, Stimpy Girl. I reserve the right to adjust my score. No doubt about it. All right. Okay, keep in mind that this group would have already, see, this is the only part of it that doesn't quite make 100% sense. The group has already been to Virginia and back. That's the only part. I'm not big on super coincidences, but it just seems it's getting very, very coincidental. Because here's what we have at this point. We've got Morgan, who happened to end up in Texas. But Morgan happened to end up in the same place of a group that is going to capture Rick in the future. Okay? Now, what's bizarre about this is this group would have already had to leave Texas and go to Virginia before Morgan ever got there. So you've got a group with helicopters that is attached to Jadis that would have been the first group from Texas to go and to come back. Then you got Morgan, who just happens to show up in the same area. Then you got Dwight, who may also end up in the same area. Look, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. In fact, it looks like it's going to happen. But that's 3 people from the same, ending up in the exact same area just out of complete coincidence. Texas is popular. And because what's important is the timeline. The timeline has been the most confusing thing for us to talk about. But once they go back and get Rick, they don't go back again. All right, Tom Ferrer says, who else looking forward to the cat playing a major role? We all are, Tom. The cat is going to be the star of the show. All scientists have to have a cat. They're going to find it. So certainly, Mitch, it is getting interesting. What's up, Mark? Thanks for being here. Exactly. So, Grimes on the radio, Rick is still building the bridge as far as we know, based on a rough estimate or rough timeline. And what's bizarre, and this is certainly going to give us a lot of different things. Those heads in the tree, if that is some connection to the Whispers, and I know people are saying Alpha's in Baltimore, but if that's some connection to the Whispers before the Whispers, then this episode's going to get a 12 out of 10. It won't get a 6. If there's a connection to Rick Grimes and the Whispers in the same episode based on the decapitated heads and also the triad Trinidad symbol, then it's going to be crazy. Daryl, certainly, I mean, here's the thing. In the comics, they are located in Ohio. But one thing that we've learned, they can change it. They could make the Commonwealth from Texas if they want to. And for sake of filming, they certainly could. But what it does say is that since this group is probably connected to Rick, they're not going to be killed off easy. And look, we don't know. We don't know if they're good or bad. I know some people are saying they're villains. Now, what is an A and what is a B? Did we not just get that question asked on Fear the Walking Dead? We spent half a season on The Walking Dead wondering the difference between an A and a B. Now we're going to be wondering on Fear the Walking Dead, and it's going to tie into the movie. So Daryl wants to know, are the 3 kids connected to Logan or the helicopter group? I think the helicopter group. If I had to guess and say they're connected to one or the other, and if they're not connected to the helicopter group, they'll be involved in that situation, because I think that's the immediate, now that Al has been tased and Morgan, heard a little bit of that, they're close enough. Just checking out a couple of your comments here. June Smith, I just poured me a glass of Henny. Henny and Rick go together tonight. Kills, I love you. June, my heart sank when I saw Al going through, and I'm going to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again just to, get the pictures and it looked like some kind of, like a blueprint, maybe a map, and the signal is certainly their group. Now, let me also go back. I don't know if you guys remember this. 2 years ago, it's been a while. But that symbol, we said it'd be a group called Triad, right? When we saw the 3 circles, it's been a while. But this was even before the Rick Grimes situation. And we just made up a name. No, I don't think she was stabbed. I'm pretty sure she got hit with a taser. And yes, the walker did have some wiring. Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure. It was quick. So, those of you that have watched it once, twice, maybe 3 times, the one thing I want you to focus on of paramount importance, the most important thing, and there were some good hints, is let's go back at the very end and just look at what's on each one of those. I didn't catch it the first time around, but I almost felt like it was a floor plan, like a map of maybe their area, with that logo on the side. So the logo represents their group. Now, we know that Jadis has been giving them people for food. So, June Smith. It appears that Rick Grimes was taken by a group that wants to experiment on people. That's the movie. There's your movie setup right there. And for some reason, they want Rick. So I got to assume that we're going to see Rick Grimes tortured in the movie. Well, Daryl, that would be mind-blowing, wouldn't it? If they crossed over, Corey, if that's Heath that tased Al, oh my God, the Walking Dead universe is going to be so connected. That would blow everybody's mind. The first thing they have to do, though, is they got to get Heath some glasses. Yeah, I'm going to go back. I'll check it out again. If any of you want to screenshot it and send it to me, I'll review it. There's a lot to review. So, this is what we've got so far. I'm telling you, I'm actually going to take this from an 8.5 to a 9. I'm raising my score before we even get started. We got Creepy Logan, who looks like he's going to add a villain with a little bit of humor element. We got Borders. And we got decapitated people. So there's that. We got the group that took Rick. And a whole lot of interesting hidden clues as well. And this group basically... So, to understand this, let's go back and understand what happened in the future. Okay. So, Al was just tased after finding the information. Sometime within the next let me get the time skip right. All right. So check this. You know, here's the problem. We don't know how much of a time skip there has been between seasons. That's the problem. You guys want to venture a guess? See, I mean, hey, it'd be really crazy if it's Rick Grimes that tased her, right? I mean, anything is possible. It does. It seems like, you know, they've had time to sort of regroup. They checked on a few people. How many people think about 6 months? Because if we can agree on about 6 months, then we are right at that. Okay, Morgan left. It was about a year. Then we add another 6 months. We're very close to when Rick got taken. I mean, very close. And if it's a year, then that means that Rick is already somewhere else. Regardless, it's not off by a whole lot. We're within a couple months. So we're either very close to Rick being taken, or Rick has already been taken and he's somewhere with these people. And they're going to have to do something to catch up with the time frame. I mean, even if we're at that Rick Grimes moment, then the next time skip's going to be about 6 years. So that's a whole different story, how they get back, how Michonne finds him. So when Michonne goes looking for him, in theory, Rick has either been taken or escaped or went through all of this stuff with this group. Now, we still don't know if they're good or bad. But how many of you are going to be watching Fear the Walking Dead this whole season looking for any clue of the Rick Grimes movie? God, they're smart. They're setting us up with this to really, really hype the movie. And it's absolutely perfect. I think in our prediction stream a couple of weeks ago, we said a purely Rick Grimes themed movie would probably not get more viewers than The Walking Dead core franchise. Now that you've got The Walking Dead fans that are going to watch, the Fear the Walking Dead fans are going to jump in to look for any more clues, and then you've got a reasonable story to attach to it, that is exactly the way we said it should happen. And it was brilliant. What a brilliant move. Now, Talking Dead is going to be on shortly. On Talking Dead, I'm looking forward to any hints, any clues, any comments that they're going to say. And look, Chris Hardwick's pretty bright. So I think he's going to put them on the spot and say, I'm pretty sure it's going to be asked tonight. So I'm going to tune into Talking Dead just to see the two showrunners, or two producers, Alicia and Strand, are on the couch. So because Chris Hardwick can ask Ian exactly, it's going to lead into it. And, wow, I mean, yes, the show was kind of going along. It was good. It was setting the table. And it's like, you have this aha moment. Like, wow, they just did that. They're crossing this thing over. Danny Grace says, I'm re-rating tonight. I'm giving it a 15. You know, the more you talk about it, the more you drill down, the more you see the clues, then it's going to make sense. I'm going to ask everybody to do me a big favor. Can you guys get this PJ person out of here? Obviously, is typing with his face instead of with his hands. Thank you. If you guys are going to join the chat, we don't mind you joining. Just have something remotely intelligent to say instead of just face typing. Everybody do me a big favor. We try to keep trolls out of here. If you guys like what we do, if you're loving Fear the Walking Dead, you'd like to talk about the show, give this video a thumbs up. Appreciate everybody being here. We're going to go get ready for Talking Dead. We will be back here tomorrow night at 9:30, everybody. Tomorrow, we're going to break down the complete episode. You can rest assured that this symbol is going to be all over the internet. People are going to be tweeting it. They're going to be talking about it. So we're absolutely going to make that our topic of conversation. So I'm sure some other theories are going to come out between tonight and tomorrow. Be here tomorrow night at 9:30 to talk about them. Thanks for everything that you guys do, and I will see you all tomorrow night at 9:30. Enjoy Talking Dead. There's going to be some good hints, some good clues coming up tonight. Talk to you soon. Peace.